Swinburne University of Technology.
Hi everyone, I'm Professor Gilly Salmon. I'm going to talk to you today about the wonderful opportunities we have from a big choice of new learning technologies, almost a spectrum. The concept of eTivities started with text-based, asynchronous forums or bulletin boards. They were simply what I had available when I was doing the original research and development. And of course, text and asynchronicity is still really highly accessible and good to deploy for low-cost, high-value learning activities. But now we have a serious plethora of new choices. The advent of social media and what's known as the contributing web has hugely raised the awareness of technology as offering quite new forms of promoting interaction and participation. Now, most educational institutions have a learning management system, or sometimes called a virtual learning environment. And these systems are beneficial because they're secure and backed up and supported and usually have help desks and a variety of options. And they will generally have text-based bulletin boards and forums. But it's not the whole story anymore. There are many other environments and tools and applications that are not owned and cannot be by the educational institution. And I'm going to help you consider some of these now, how you can move the technology you're using for the design of eTivities beyond the bulletin board or the forum in the learning management system or the virtual learning environment. Now, I've divided these suggestions into two, those for working together and those that provide the sparks and contributions for eTivities. Now, in the first group are platforms and applications with a wide range of interactive features. And in the second group, the sparks, are platforms and applications that can start participation and dialogue, or that offer accessible repositories, for example, for participants to store and view and respond to each other's contributions. So, first of all, what about the technologies for learning together, working together online? I'm going to give you 10 and I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. First, Wikis. Wikis allow participants to add, modify or delete content either via their PC or a mobile app, and they are really good for working together for most kinds of activities. And the output or summary can then be used as a spark for the next activity. Now, wikis have proved exceptionally valuable in activities delivery, but you must provide the structure in the wiki for responses, otherwise they grow too quickly and become complex and confusing. But have a go at those. It's a really useful way of getting into something other than your learning management system. Another idea, number 2, voice boards. They're asynchronous, like little online discussion boards, but the contributors post their responses through their voices through a little audio message rather than text. And once they get the hang of it, it can be quite quick. And they work really well with group forming and feedback, since the human voice adds a little tone and warmth. Or perhaps where spoken words are important, such as language learning. So number 3 are blogs. Blogs are good for sharing, presenting information and views, practicing, contributing online, and also reflecting at the point of learning. They also help with online and academic writing, and they're a very easy way of documenting learning thoughts and outcomes. Good for looking back at various points in the course, for revision, promoting reflection and revisiting portions of the course before assessment. They're also a very good way for e-moderators to give personal or group feedback. Number 3 was blogs. Number 4 is microblogs. I'm talking Twitter and similar. They're like blogs, but they feature very short entry and they're kind of more interactive. So they're very good for working together, generating sparks, promoting quick responses and surveys. And although writing short messages takes some practice, they do promote the idea of concise writing. And there's also a tagging system so that entries can be easily grouped together, hashtags, for example. So that's have a go at that one. They're really great for activities. Of course, there's text messages, number 5, on mobile phones, familiar to almost everyone. And they work when 3G access is available and not perhaps a wireless network. And they're really good for linking activities to real-world practice or experience. And you'll find them very useful for sharing ideas or reporting on field data. And of course, you can use them for reminders and update and peer support too. Different idea now for number 6, multi-user games. Most of these games are based on complex logistics and have very interesting multimedia features as well as communication devices. They're really good for working together, experiencing online group work, perhaps exploring online identities, and students will experience both competition, cooperation and collaboration. So they're really interesting. You might need to take time out from time to time to smooth any ruffled feathers, but as long as you're linking it back to the activity then to discuss what's going on, that's absolutely fine. Another idea, number 7, 3D multi-use or virtual worlds. These are immersive environments where participants can explore different ways of living and learning that are not available in real life. So they're really good for role-playing, simulation, problem solving, and also perhaps for establishing identities, walking in someone else's shoes. If you look in my e-moderating book, there's some case studies there of how the 5-stage model and activities are applied to virtual worlds. You probably are aware that in most learning management systems now you can have a synchronous virtual classroom. This is my number 8. Clearly these are good for working together, holding seminars and tutorials, and they're also good if you've got some distributed participants and some together in a physical classroom. They have most of the presentation features of a face-to-face session, so you can make really good use of them. And they often work quite well where you've got mainly asynchronous activities, but to occasionally bring in a synchronous event. So, number 9, mind and concept mapping. These are tools for web-based visual thinking, mapping and planning. They're really good for visually structuring and developing thoughts and ideas and understandings, encouraging groups to note take and share ideas for revision, for example. And they do encourage collaboration, and they will appeal to perhaps more visual learners or system thinkers. So they're worth introducing in your activity process. Number 10, on working together, obviously the whole range of social networking for using for announcements and so on. You may need to prepare something such as a group site in Facebook, but often participants become self-supporting quite quickly in these environments. So those are the 10 that are working together. Sorry it's been quick, but I hope it's given you at least one that you can try. I want to give you another 10 now that are good for sparks and for contributions from students. Crowd-driven wikis such as Wikipedia is my number 11. They're open and free, so they're really easy to embed in activities. And I suggest you use them where you want participants to compare and contrast, or where you're trying to teach them to evaluate different types of information, such as crowd-driven knowledge. Number 12, social bookmarking. These offer very good ways of organising and presenting web links, and they're really good for sparks and contributions because your participants can use them for finding, collecting, aggregating, tagging and sharing web resources with each other. And they are really great for encouraging students to find and contribute as opposed to just respond to what you're providing for them. Another one is recommendation sites. There are sites on practically any topic you can imagine. They're usually generated by contribution and filtered either collaboratively by a contributor or based on lists of preference of users or perhaps by the topics. So you can get a group going to create, find, construct, curate and share and present resources for your course. And don't forget to keep them for the next course that runs. And kind of linked with that are massive contributions and collections. These are of images such as Flickr and a whole range of other things, everything from plans for 3D printing. They're great for finding and livening up activities. So most people often look to YouTube these days for their first spark when they're looking for something a bit different. But there are many, many others. And you might also want to set up your own sites so your learners can contribute and provide sparks for others. I'm on number 15 now. This is RSS, stands for either Rich Site Summary or Really Simple Syndication. And this is a way of providing what we call a feed. It's a way of automatically updating you and enabling you to stay constantly aware of web published material in your relevant field by alerting you to new material. Most learning management systems and virtual learning environments provide a way of doing this now. Another idea for sparks and contributions is document collaboration. This is, for example, Google Docs. These are very good for sparks and contributions, and they also work well both with co-located or dispersed participants if you've got a blend. Participants' drafts are very easy to moderate and give feedback on, or they can keep them private. And you can also do very much more ambitious cooperative writing based work, such as producing a joint report or a book, perhaps for assessment or perhaps for publication. The multiple authorship feels a bit strange when you're typing till you get used to it, but it's still worth a try. Random discovery, I'm thinking StumbleUpon and others. These are platforms very good for sparks and contributions because they prompt new ideas and creativities, making links across disciplines and concepts. And they're pretty good at stages 1 and 2 in the 5-stage model to produce random discovery. And it's a bit of fun and it helps participants to share in a safe way. I'm on number 18, nearly there now. E-portfolios, of course, these are collections of electronic evidence in multiple formats that can be assembled by the participants and managed and protected by private passwords, but also shareable. They really encourage group collaboration and are very valuable for maintaining evidence over long periods and for the presentation of experience. And so encourage them to put their badges or their evidence in the portfolios and they can take them away with them later. Mobile apps, well, what can you say about these? There's thousands and thousands of them. They can be used for collaboration, for finding resources, understanding, analysing, presenting virtual experience and so on. Try them out before you let them loose on the students because there's also all kinds of different quality, and make sure you're clear about the pedagogical purpose you have in mind. Try before you buy or recommend. Last but not least, number 20, location-based imaging. This location-based imaging such as Google Earth and the whole family around this is really good for sparks arising for exploration, think, virtual journeys. And although there are obvious uses in geography or environmental science and so on, They really work well for visual information and discovery in almost any topic area. So that was my number 20. Really rapid run through, but I'm sure there's something for everyone there. Just pick one of them to start with and try it out in an activity. Very good luck. I look forward to hearing more from you. Bye for now.
This has been a Swinburne production.